And kasi these two commandments are linked to one another, very, very closely linked to one another. So, kung papansinin natin, Jesus was once asked by a student of the law, I think a lawyer or a scribe of that time. Tinanong sa kanya, during Jesus' time, coming from the Old Testament, when the Israelites were given the Ten Commandments. And pagdating natin ngayon to Jesus' time, sobrang dumami na yung mga laws na sinusundan ng mga Israelites. And he was asked, if you could compress all of these commandments, ano ngayon what is the greatest commandment of all? And ang sagot ni Jesus was actually taken from two kumbaga, galing din, hango din, from the old books, coming from the Old Testament. So, yung first na sinagot niya, coming from Deuteronomy, sinabi niya, therefore you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And tinuloy pa niya, and now he's quoting from Leviticus, when he takes, kasi sinasabi naman, take no revenge and cherish no grudge against your fellow countrymen. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Basically, kinompress niya ngayon, coming from these two, kinwote niya, and he was able to come up and compress all of the laws of Israel from that time on up until now to be able to come up with the commandment that he said and shared to them. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments. This comes from the Gospel of Matthew. And he was sharing this to them. Siyempre medyo napahiya yung lawyer, yung tanong. So, parang rhetorical question for him. He asked, so who is my neighbor? And in the course of this session this morning, we hope to be able to answer that question. Para malaman natin, when we talk about loving your neighbor, we have to know two things. First, sino nga ba ang neighbor natin? Secondly, how are we to love them? Paano natin gagawin? When you talk about loving your neighbor, yun yung parang main two things dun sa statement na yun. Loving and your neighbor. Kailangan natin muna makilala sino sila at paano natin silang mamahalin. Para malaman natin ano yung best way for us to express this love, to be able to follow this commandment. Kasi kung papansinin natin, loving your God and loving your neighbor has to go hand in hand. Hindi pwedeng mahalin ng Diyos na hindi mo mahalin ang kapwa mo. Bakit? If ito, dahil lang natin into more simple terms for us. Pag meron kang, lagay na lang natin, girlfriend or boyfriend, meron kang mahal na tao, it would be incumbent upon you to also at least try and to attempt to love the people that he or she loves. Di ba? Kaya mga, you make, if you're the guy, ikaw naniligaw, you make the effort to know her friends, to know the family. Kasi nga, gusto mong makilala kanila at gusto mong mapakita rin na mahal mo siya. Gaano mo siya kamahal, mamahalin mo yung mahal niya. And it is the same way for us. If we are going to say that we are going to love our God, then kailangan mahalin natin kung sinong mahal ni God. Eh nagkataon nga lang, God loves everybody. So medyo, ang ano natin doon, paano natin gagawin ngayon? Medyo malaki, medyo malawak yung kailangan natin gawin. Because God created everybody here on this earth. And siyempre, kung nandito tayo sa lugar na ito, paano natin ngayon magagawa? Mamamahal natin yung mga nasa malalayong lugar o yung mga tao na hindi natin mapupuntahan, hindi natin makikita. How can we be able to love all of these people? And hopefully, be able to express the same kind of love that we want to express to God, to express it to our fellow brothers and sisters, to yung mga kasama natin, yung mga katabi lang natin. Minsan, pag nasa gym kayo, katabi mo, paano kayo mamahalin itong tao na to? Especially pag may BO pa siya, nangangamoy, hindi mo alam kung paano ka uupo ng maayos. Diba? How can we be able to love other people in the same way that Christ loved us? And it's quite difficult. It's very, very hard. Even for me, St. Paul, in his first letter to the Corinthians, actually wrote something about love. If you're familiar with 1 Corinthians 13, from verses 4 to 8, dinescribe niya doon what love is. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the verse, but in that verse, sinabi niya, love is patient, love is kind, Love is not envious, does not boast, love is not proud. All of these things, sinabi niya, inisa-isa niya kung ano yung mga bagay of what love is and what love is not. And kung titingnan natin, ang unang-unang sinabi niya ron, love is patient. If you are patient with somebody, what does that mean? Kung Tagalogin mo, ano ang Tagalog ng patience? Pasensya na naman, simple lang naman, di ba? Pero pag naubusan ka ng pasensya sa isang tao, anong ibig sabihin? Is that you are not willing to wait, you're not willing to hindi mo na siya pagbibigyan kung ano man yung kailangan mangyari o kailangan gawin. Hindi ba? And when you are not able to do that, kapag nawala na yung patience mo with somebody, kumbaga parang hindi mo natin, kasi parang naging ibabaw na ngayon, ang gusto ko kaysa sa gusto niya. And that's why, pangunahin na sinabi niya kagad ni St. Paul, love is patient because it is one of the most difficult things for a person to do. If you're living in Metro Manila, with the traffic that we have, it is hard to be patient. Diba? Parang simpleng bagay nga lang yun. Pero ako, when I'm traveling or going somewhere, it's so hard to be patient. Kapag makita mo yung mga tao with the way and the manner that they drive, parang sa akin, sa mind ko, parang, I really come to the most unchristian and I feel parang yung pinaka-evil version of myself when I am confronted with traffic. Because it's something na parang hindi ko talaga makita. How can I be able to be patient with other people who are driving and makita ko kung paano sila magmaneho? Yung mga sumisingit, yung mga nangkakat, yung mga tao na nagka-counterflow, yung mga tao na gusto mong i-video na parang, ay, lalabas ka sa top gear, pero hindi mo magawa, dahil kuha na yung telepono ko kasi wala na space sa memory, kaya hindi ko magawa. Pero alam mo yun, parang sobrang ka na naaasar, sobrang ka na naiinis sa mga tao na to. How am I going to love these people? How can I be kind to them? Sinabi rin ni St. Paul, love is kind. And, ano ang kindness sa Tagalog? Kabaitan siguro, mabait. And minsan, kung papansinin natin, itong mga bagay na nga na sinasabi ni St. Paul, about not being envious, about not being boastful, about not being proud, about not being rude, not being self-seeking. Pag sinabi na self-seeking, sabi paano ito just to glorify yourself. Not easily angered, you don't keep a record of wrongs. Alam mo yung mga tao na alam lahat ng nagagawa mong mali. Nakala mo, nalampasan mo na eh. Natapos na eh. Para sasabihin niya, biglang pag nag-away kayo, biglang sasabihin niya, palagi ka naman ganyan eh. Sasagot mo, kailan ba? Sasabihin niya, nung Friday, tapos nung ano, tapos yung, alam niya, yung dito, nung tayo, alam niya lahat. Yung bawat instance, kung kailan yun nagawa. Pero still, masasabi mo pa rin naman, hindi pa rin palagi yun, paminsan-minsan lang. Pero, but people would still remember every instance, hindi nila kinakalimutan, they're not able to forgive. Hindi nila nagbibigyan, okay na, once tapos na yung alitan nyo, yung away ninyo, natapos na. Per day, they'll still keep it within themselves. And every so often, lalabas siya. At hindi mo makikita, yung pagiging unloving natin lumalabas. Because we keep track of what this person has done against me. Instead of being able to move forward. At lampasan na lang kung ano man yung nasabi niya na nakasakit o nagawa niya na nakasakit sa akin. So we are being unloving when we do all of those things. And when we delight in evil, pag may masamang nangyari sa kanya, buti nga sa iyo. Alam mo yun, yung mga tao na pag makita mo lang yung mukha nila sa umaga, sira na yung araw mo, sana may mangyari sa iyo ngayon na hindi ko lang na ano. Sometimes we tend to do this. And even for me, pag ako nagdadrive, iniisip ko kasi sana, especially pag alam ko na hindi siya marunong mag-drive, na parang hindi siya talaga natuta ng maayos, na kung parang magiging cause siya ng accident na nasa mind ko, inisip ko palagi na sana yung lahi niya magstay na lang sa kanya. Sana matay na lang siya. Parang matapos na yung lahi niya. Parang wala nang dadaan sa mga kung ano man na natututunan niya, hindi niya ipasa sa iba. Alam mo yun, parang ganun sobrang lalahanan nung iniisip mo. So parang you're now finding yourself thinking about evil thoughts, evil things to happen to other people. Diba? It's natural minsan na gano'n yung nangyayari sa atin. Iisip natin na kasi masama siya sa akin, so magiging masama rin ako sa kanya. If he or she did something wrong to me, then sometimes we would also desire na gumante. Sometimes, magde-desire tayo na sana makapantay man lang, patas man lang, quits lang. Diba? Parang minsan puso natin, minsan pwede makalamang, pwede. Pero minsan gano'n na iniisip natin that our mindsets Ganun na minsan eh. Iniisip natin na parang, gusto ko siyang malaman. Ayoko na patas lang kami. Ayoko na naisahan niya ako. Kailangan ako yung makaisa sa kanya. And when St. Paul wrote this, he was really describing to us what it is really needed for us to be able to love one another. It tells us that love always protects. Love always trusts in one another. May tiwala ka sa bawat isa. May tiwala ka sa kabutihan na meron sa kapwa natin. When we say that love always hopes, we have, hindi siya in the romantic sense na laging may pag-asa. But what we're really trying to say here is that when love always hopes, that we always hope for the good, we always hope for the best, we always hope for what will bring out the best in other people. We always want and desire to have something good happen to others. Not what is bad, not as what evil. Kung ano yung parang ikabubuti niya, yun ang hinahangad natin. And that's why when he says that love always perseveres, it means that love will never stop. And when he says finally that love never fails, ibig sabihin, to decide to love another person, you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong when you choose and when you decide to love. And it is a very, very basic thing na kinukwento sa atin ni St. Paul when he describes what love is. And for us, kapag iisipin natin, yung lahat ng mga yon, for a person that you already like, or a person that you already love, it's already difficult to do all of those things. Paano pa to a total stranger? Paano pa to somebody who doesn't think or has no regard for your welfare? What if it is someone who karibal mo? What if it is someone na nakalaban mo, kakompetensya mo? What if it is someone who wants to bring you down? How can we now be able to love these people? And siguro, as we go further on, we'll hope to be able to answer that question. And it's always good for us to remember that to be able to love God and to be able to love others, this is a commandment. This is what Jesus tells us. And sinasabi niya kasi, I give you a new commandment. Diba? It's a commandment. Hindi niya sinabi, I give you now a new suggestion. I give you now a new option. No, He's telling us, I'm giving you a new commandment. It is something that we should follow. This is a command coming from our God. And He's telling us to love one another as I have loved you. So we always look towards Christ's example in how, in the manner, He was able to express His love for each and every one of us. And so, sinabi niya, so you also should love one another. And hindi lang niya sinabi yun once, but paulit-ulit niyang minention at sinabi. So also, as we go further on sa Gospel ni John, sinabi niya ulit, this is my commandment, love one another as I have loved you. Tapos sinabi pa niya ulit, my command to you, love one another. Typo lang. Pero, this is what He's trying to always tell us. That, bakit kaya si Jesus, may mga certain points in terms of the Gospels, you'll always notice there are certain things that He will always emphasize. And loving one another is one of those things that He wants to emphasize. Because He wants us to be able to remember. He wants us that this is something that's very, very important. Kaya lang, hindi lang niya sinabi na once, hindi lang sinabi twice, but multiple times. In order for us to take into account the gravity and the significance of how loving one another and being able to express that love to our brothers and sisters, to the people surrounding us, and how this can be able to allow us to express our love to God. To be able to love our neighbors and to be able to love God. They go hand in hand. To be able to love the people whom God loves. To be able to love the people whom God has created and placed on this earth to surround us with. So kailangan natin magmahalan talaga. But syempre sa ngayon, sa nangyayari, it's not always the case. But also, we will also notice that Jesus showed other ways in order for us to see how this can happen. When Jesus washed the feet of His disciples, take note, back then, wala pang Uber, wala pang taxi, wala pang Grab, wala pang MRT, wala pang P2P na bus, maraming wala pa. They had to do what? They had to walk. And when you were walking, naturally, ang pinakamadumi na parte ng katawan mo would be your feet. and to wash another person's feet. That used to be a task reserved for the slave, or a task for a lowly servant in the household. But Jesus was the one who did this for His disciples. He did this to be able to show how much He loved them, to humble Himself before them. Isipin mo, siya na nga yung master, siya yung teacher nila, siya yung sinusundan nila. Kumbaga, siya yung pinaka-boss nila, di ba? Siya yung sinusundan nila. Just imagine how it would be if your boss would now, sabihin natin, nag-hiking kayo, ganyan. Sabi niya, linisin mo ba niyo? Or something. Parang ganun ka-level na, ano, di ba? Parang, would you allow, siguro, unless hindi kayo ka-close talaga ng boss mo, or meron kang galit sa kanya, sige, natudulan mo malalo. But, in a case like this is totally opposite of what people then would consider to be acceptable. Kasi nga, this is something that's only reserved or done by the lowest of people. And that's why si San Pedro, ayaw niya pumayag na huwag niyo hugasan yung pako. Master, Lord, wag na. Okay lang. Pero Jesus was insistent. Pag hindi mo ako hinayaan na mahalin ka, di ba? If you do not allow me to do this for you, di ba? Parang wag mo nang tanggihan. Di ba? Don't sinasabi ni Jesus, He also expressed that this is necessary, this is what is needed in order for me to show and express my love to you. And when Jesus washed their feet, He was showing the heart of a servant. He was showing how we can best be able to love one another by humbling ourselves and being able to take on that posture of service for one another. He took on the role of a servant in order to be able to express to His disciples, even though He was, kumbaga parang yung pinaka-highest ranking sa kanila in a sense, and still be able to express how much He loved them by washing what was most dirty from them. Ano yung pinaka madumi at na ayaw hawakan siguro ng ibang tao, but He was willing to wash their feet to be able to show them how much He loved them. And ano yung extent ng pagmamahal ng Diyos para sa atin? It came to the point that Jesus would express His love in the way that He would offer His own life to be able to save not just His disciples, but for all of us, for all of mankind. So no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And this is what Jesus did. He laid down His life for each and every one of us, so that we might be saved. Binigay niya yung buhay niya. He allowed Himself to suffer and to die for all of our sins in order to accomplish that. And from Philippians 2:5-8, it says there, have among yourselves the same attitude that is also yours in Christ Jesus, who, though He was in the form of God, did not regard equality with God something to be grasped. Rather, He emptied Himself, taking the form of a slave, coming in human likeness, and found human in appearance, He humbled Himself, becoming obedient to death, even death on the cross. This was how Jesus humbled Himself. This was how He expressed His love for each and every one of us. He was God, yet He decided to become man, and to go into this earth, to be a part of us, to become one with us, and experience the same hardship, the same trials that we also suffer. And despite all of that, He still, dinampasan pa niya, He was willing to die for us. And all of these things, para nakita natin, grabe, ganong klaseng pagmamahal pala ang meron ng Diyos para sa atin. And when we take into account what we've just heard siguro sa kaninang session about loving God, about the Christian ideal, now we come to a realization of how great God's love for each and every one is. And this is the kind of example, the kind of love that He would want us to be able to follow. Now, am I saying that dapat lahat tayo mamatay, magpapako sa krus, pumunta ng Pampanga kapag Holy Week, magpapako din. Ito naman, wala naman namamatay, nakapako lang naman sila. But am I saying that we should do that? No, I'm not saying it's a requirement for you to die right now just for us to be able to express our love to one another. No. Ang sinasabi natin dito, Christ's example was that He was willing to be able to go to that extent. But ang sinasabi nga lang niya sa atin, His requirement for us is only this: love one another as you love yourself. Kung gaano mo kamahal ang sarili mo, how you would want to be treated, that is how you should also be able to express your love to other people. Simple lang. Hindi niya sinasabi na, okay, unless gusto mong mamatay, gusto mo siguro mamatay yung iba, but I don't think that's the normal for most of us. I think what's usual for us is that we want and we desire to be happy. We want to be able to enjoy life. We want to be able to have the comforts of life that is present in this world. Kung ako gusto kong mabusog. Kaya mamaya, pagkakain na ng lunch, gusto ko sama-sama tayo mabubusog. Di ba? Parang ganun. It's something simple, but it's something that's also something inherent in each and every one of us. Gusto natin kung anong masaya, gusto natin kung anong maganda, gusto natin kung anong ikabubuti natin. That's why Christ is telling us, if you want what's good for you, if you want what's best for you, then desire that for other people as well. Desire that which you also want and desire in your life to be what should be deserving of other people. Sana sila din, huwag ikaw lang. Tayo lahat. Makinabang tayo, magmahalan tayo. Let's be able to bring forth something that is good, great for each and every one of us. So we come now to the question. So tinanong nga kanina, so who is my neighbor? Now, are you familiar with Sesame Street? Okay, so assume lang natin, hindi ko kasi alam kung ano yung sobrang luma na nung hinanap ko na video.
Let's take a walk around the neighborhood and see who we meet today. Oh, who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood, in your neighborhood. Well, who are the people in your neighborhood? The people that you meet each day.
Say, I got a riddle for you. What has 4 wheels and flags?
Oh, I know that, old Joe. What has 4 wheels and flies is a garbage truck.
That's right, but what else has 4 wheels and flags?
I don't know, what else?
Me, I'm an airplane pilot. I fly planes.
Oh, but you don't have 4 wheels.
Oh, I just set that to make a card. Oh, the pilot flies a plane up high. I carry people through the sky. If you're going on a trip someday, I'll be there to help you on your way.
Or the pilot is the person in your neighborhood.
In your neighborhood.
In your neighborhood.
Okay, sige. So haba pa yun, pero makatokin na tayo. So. But basically, from Sesame Street pa lang, nung bata pa lang tayo, o siguro baka yung iba patibot na yung naabot. But for whatever reason, okay, even as kids, we were being taught na who are the people in your neighborhood? That these are the people that you meet each day. These are the people that are surrounding us every day. But if you're going to be looking at how Christ wanted us to relate to our neighbor, He wanted to bring it much more further. He wanted to express, nung tinanong siya, Lord, who is my neighbor? Ito yung typical answer na meron tayo siguro. Pag sinabi na, who are the people in your neighborhood? Who are the people, my neighbors? Yung kapitbahay ko, yung katabi na yung sa village namin. Yun yung parang immediate na tanong, or immediate na sagot na meron tayo kapag tinanong tayo. These are the people who are in our vicinity. These are the people who are in our surroundings. So, inisip natin automatically that these are the people in my neighborhood. So, these are the people na sinasabi ba ni Jesus na sila yung kailangan kong mahalin. Now, but when Jesus was asked this question, instead of answering the question straight out, nung tinanong siya, but Lord, who is my neighbor? Yung tanong sa kanya specifically. Christ answered in a very special way. He answered by way of a parable. And that parable is the parable of the Good Samaritan. Are you familiar with that parable?
Yes.
In that parable, kinuwento ni Jesus about there was a Jew traveling. And when he was traveling, going back to, ano ba yung specific na place? Going to Jerusalem, I think. And when he was traveling, he was beset by bandits. And he was binugbog, ninakawan, left for dead, basically. Iniwan na lang siya on the side of the road, and he was there bleeding out to death, siguro, if nobody would help him. But may dumaan. So, sino yung unang dumaan? May dumaan na isang priest. And yung dumaan yung priest, tumingin lang siya, and then went to the other side of the road, and continued on his journey. Next, a Levite came. A Levite was para sa kanila, para ano yun, there's a, kumbaga, among the tribes of Israel, we certain na tribe was supposed to be for, yung parang, ano ba yung tawag mo, parang more, hindi naman siya specifically na priest, pero priestly duties din yung ginagawa nila. But the Levite, when he saw the Jewish man bleeding, hurt, there on the side of the road, instead of doing anything or helping, tumaboy pa rin, umalis. Went to the other side of the road and continued on his journey. But when a Samaritan came, now, bakit ba sobrang init ng labanan ng Samaritan at mga Jews? Why is there so much enmity between the two of them? Now, medyo kailangan ko pumasok sa history para na-explain yun. Okay lang ba? Kasi baka tulungan natin siya. But in olden times, at the time when King Solomon, are you familiar with King Solomon? He was one of the son of David. Siya yung nag-succeed sa kanya as the king. And when he died, the kingdom of Israel was divided into two: the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. And nung tumagal, na-invade ang Israel ng mga Babylonians at mga Assyrians. Now, yung mga na-invade ng Babylonians, they were put into exile. So pumunta sila sa Babylon, kasama doon. So dinala sila doon. But the Assyrians, when they invaded Israel, doon sa isang kingdom, sa northern kingdom, sa northern part, yung mga Jews na natira doon, they actually intermarried with the Assyrians. Now, Assyrians they were considered as pagans by the Jewish people. And ang tingin nila doon, they thought of them as not followers of Jewish tradition and not followers of Jewish law. Ibig sabihin, to be able to do that, parang mababa na yung tingin nila for those who intermarried with the pagans. And so, nung natapos yung exile ng Israel from Babylon, and when they went back, at nakita nila yung mga natira doon that who intermarried with the Assyrians, these are what now we call the Samaritans, they really had a different, parang may conflict na sila in terms of the Israelites who came from Babylon thinking na kami lang ang may sole right or sole heirs of the Jewish tradition because we were the ones who remained true, we were the ones who remained pure. So, pagbalik nila sa Israel, at nandun yung mga Samaritans on the other side, sila yung parang sinasabi na parang of a lower class. They were thought of as somebody na kumbaga, not worth mentioning. Kumbaga parang sobra silang mas matindi pa sa galit ng dasal at Ateneo. Parang gano'n. Sobra silang magkagalit lang talaga, na away lang talaga pag gano'n. And sobra yung galit nila sa isa't isa. That it was unthinkable then for them to consider that a Samaritan would be willing to help a Jew. But in Jesus' story, kinukwento niya, when so dumaan na pareho yung priest at yung Levite. But when the Samaritan came, he was the one who was willing to help out. Instead of just linapitan niya, kineri niya, dinagay niya dun sa animal niya, he bandaged the wounds, he put oil, he put basta parang lang ma-heal at matulungan siya. And aside from that, dinala niya to the inn and cared for him. And since hindi pa rin siya makaalis, he also asked the innkeeper na, pangalagaan mo kung ano man yung gagastusin mo, babayaran ko pagbalik on my return trip. So, he did anything and everything that was needed to ensure that the Jewish man who was beset by bandits would be able to recover. Ginawa niya lahat na kaya niyang gawin para makatulong. And this is the kind of example that Jesus gave when he was asked, who is my neighbor? And when he was asked, so nung tinanong niya ngayon yung nagtanong sa kanya, who is my neighbor? He asked them, So who among these three people, among the priest, the Levite, and the Samaritan, who among them do you think was a neighbor to the Jew na binubog, na hayaan lang on who was waylaid on the side of the road? Who among the three do you think was the one who was being a true neighbor to them? And in true fashion, yung lawyer, yung sumagot, yung nagtanong ng question, you could actually see from his answer how much he hated to answer the question. But hindi man lang niya masabi that it was the Samaritan. Ang sagot niya, it was the one who helped him. Diba? Hindi man lang niya masabi yung word, it was the Samaritan. No. Sobrang ganun kalaki yung galit nila that he could not even mention the word. He would just say, the person who helped him. Yun ang parang pinakasagot niya. It was the person who needed, who extended his help to the person in need. Yun lang yung naging sagot niya. And how he was able to be a neighbor to the person in need. And so for us, brothers and sisters, sa atin ngayon, kapag kinonsider natin yung question about who is my neighbor, it is not confined to the people who are just in our neighborhood. It is not just confined to the people who are in our vicinity, na arm's reach lang. Actually, what Jesus is trying to tell us is that when you consider the question of who is my neighbor is anyone or everyone who needs our help, who needs our attention. Anybody or everybody who is in need of love. These are my neighbors. These are the people whom God has called me to love. These are the people whom God loves, and He wants me to be able to love them as well. Pero, kung kasabihin natin, titingnan natin, madaling sabihin, mahirap gawin. Diba? Pag sinabi natin, pabalikan natin kanina, sinabi natin, love is patient, love is kind, love is... All of those things. And it's already difficult for me to love the people whom I already love and express it to them in that manner, in that way. Paano pa ngayon sa mga tao na hindi ko kilala? Paano pa ngayon sa mga taong nakakasakit sa akin? Paano pa sa mga tao na feeling ko naman hindi karapat-dapat na minamahal? And that's where God's grace comes in. Even though when God gave us this commandment, He also knew that we would be in need of the Holy Spirit. We would be needing His grace in order to accomplish all of these things. Hindi natin kakayanin na tayo lang mag-isa. Kaya nga to love God and to love our neighbor has to go hand in hand. Because if you do not love your God, if you are not able to establish that relationship with Him, then it will be very, very difficult for us to be able to receive His grace, to be able to love the people around us. Kung wala yun, sobrang hirap. For me, for example, kaya ako kanina, pag nag-drive ako, and frequently dito sa Manila, you always encounter people who are, anong magandang word na hindi naman masyado. You frequently encounter people who have no regard for safety, who have no regard for other people. We have no regard for other people's property. Yun na lang, gawin na natin yan, a safe way para sabihin. And whenever you encounter these kinds of people, na sila pa yung nagmamadali, na sila pa yung laging nagagalit, na sila pa yung akala mo sila talaga may-ari ng kalye. Now, it's quite difficult for me to be able to be patient or be kind to these people. And so, it's, sabi ko, Lord, paano ko gagawin to? Paano ko mamahalin itong mga tao na to? Na kapag nakita ko, pag nag-cut sa akin, anong gagawin ko para mapigilan na sarili ko para maglalang? And it was through God's grace, I came to the realization, and I came to the point, okay, pag may nag-cut sa akin, ang initial reaction ko before was habulin siya at kakat ko rin siya. But now that tinry ko ng baguhin yung ganong type of thinking, ngayon, ang lagi nasa mind ko, iniisip ko palagi, is that in order to think of what is His benefit, lagi ko lang iniisip, siguro nagmamadali siya kasi nagpapahinga siya. Siguro kailangan niya magbanyo, siguro may emergency na kailangan niyang gawin. Siguro there is something that he needs to do, he or she needs to do. That's why they were forced to do that to me. And ako na lang ang magpasensya sa kanya. And in that kind of thinking, although parang inaaliw ko na lang ang sarili ko, just to find a reason in order to allow that something that they did to pass. Bakit ako magpapakatalo na maiinis, maaasar sa buong araw just because of what they did? Wala silang pakialam sa akin. Kaya naman yung ginawa yun, wala naman talaga silang pake sa akin eh. Pero pagkalampas niya, tapos ako yung magagalit, talo na ako. Dala ko na nga yung nakat, ako pa yung nagalit, ako pa yung nasira yung araw. Parang luging-lugi ka, di ba? So just allow it to happen and be able to let it go. Hayaan mo na lang eh. So, malamang kailangan lang niya mag-CR. Kaya siya nagmamadali ng ganun. Kasi kung hindi, pinagdadasal ko pa, Lord, sana makabot siya sa banyo in time. Sana may tissue doon sa banyo niya. Sana may tubig, makaka-flash ako. Ano man yung kailangan niya, Lord. Yung parang, you try to find a way to think and consider ano ba yung benefit ng ibang tao na to. Na sana, instead of being angry at that person, I would like to desire something good to happen to him or to her. Instead of trying to get even, you try to find a way na, Lord, paano ko kaya makikita na may ikabubuting ginawa ng tao na to? Paano ko kaya makikita na mayroong kahulugan at mayroong kararatnan yung gagawin na to? If I will just lose my temper, if I will just, kung babalikan natin sinabi natin about what love is, if I will just be what that love is not, then talo ako eh. Ako na yung lugi, ako yung kawawa eh. But instead of doing that and embracing what is evil, what is wrong, instead of being hopeless, instead of being impatient, instead of being always trying to take note of kung ano yung ilang mali yung ginawa niya sa akin, instead of doing all of that, you just allow the Lord to take your anger and you just allow the Lord to happen in your life. You allow His grace to come into our lives. And then you'll be able to see that it is through that way, through the cross, through His example, we're able to see kung paano talaga dapat tayo magmamahal. To be able to see the kind of love that Jesus exemplified. To be able to see how much He was willing to go for our benefit. And this is the same kind of love that we aspire for. Ako, I don't claim to be able to do what Jesus was able to do. Ako, sobrang layo ko ba? And I know how far I am from that ideal of being able to love in the way that He loves. But I am opening myself up to the possibility that, Lord, through your grace, allow me and teach me how I can love these other people. The people na minsan kinaasaran ko, the people na hindi sumusunod sa deadline, the people na ayaw gawin yung dapat nilang ginagawa, the people who would actually na uubusan ka ng pagkain, the people who would, so many things na ginagawa nila that you would think na parang kawawa naman ako, but in essence, hindi naman ako ganun kawawa. This is an opportunity for me to be able to express my love to others. Kahit na hindi niya alam na minamahal ko siya, kahit hindi niya alam na pinagbibigyan ko siya, it doesn't matter that he or she should know. What's important is that I am able to express my love to God and I am able to express my love to this person. Regardless of kung ano man yung nagawa o nasabi niya na masakit or ano, but if we were all able to do this, what kind of a world would we be living in? Just imagine if we were all willing to do this. Siguro hindi na natin kailangan, hindi na natin marinig yung mga summary execution, yung mga police at yung mga hinuhuli nila would actually be able to get along. And alam mo yun, the kind of a world where even terrorists and would be able to get together and be able to know that we are wanting and desiring one same thing, to be able to live peacefully with one another and to be able to have a happy and full life. And that's what Jesus wants each and every one of us to have. When we're talking about loving our neighbor, He exemplified this by dying on the cross. By dying on the cross and parang saving us and redeeming us from our sins, He was able to show us the kind of love that is possible. He was showing us the kind of love that is expressed. Kung titignan natin yung cross, there are two lines. There's a vertical line and a horizontal line. The vertical line points us towards God and to be able to love Him. And the horizontal line is about our brothers and sisters, the people around us. And it's this line that we are talking about our neighbors, the people around us, the people who are in need of our love. And when we look at the cross, let us always remember that this is what it is trying to remind us. Reminding us to love our God and to love our neighbor. And siguro just to bring the whole session to a close, we'd just like to call on one sharer. Let's all welcome our brother, si John.
Good afternoon naman.
Morning pa rin.
Morning pa pala. Sige, morning. Sorry, tanggalin ko na. Ayun, albo na kasi. Anyway, ayun. So, sabi nga nila, no, yung loving your neighbor, it's easier said than done. Well, easier said than done. Easier kapag friend ka, something that you love, no, mahal mo sa buhay. Pero what if it's your enemy? Diba? Actually, it's not easier said than done. It's hard to say, actually. Yun. For example na lang, di ba? Can you forgive na lang yung taong nag-road rage ba yun, binaril niya? Di ba? Ang hirap, di ba? So, ako, I work as a technical support sa POS company. So, just like you, some of you, yung client tumatawag sa akin, hindi para mga musta. Tumatawag sila kapag may problema sila. And some of them, talagang sila, beast mode pag tumawag. And sometimes, ikaw, you have to keep your cool. Pero ang hirap, di ba? Ang hirap pagbigyan sila. Pero you have to keep your cool kasi it's part of your work. Many times tinatanong ko, how can I keep my cool sa mga taong ganito? And I didn't go under formal training sa mga ganyan eh. So, what I did was, I tried to search the answer through, nakatulong naman yung community sa akin kasi yung sa mga talk, no. Siguro, pag binasa mo nga yung verse ni, yung sa Corinthians, no, yung love is patient, love is kind, yung mga nakasulat nun, hindi kasi ako ganun eh, hindi ako patient, I'm not kind, siguro kind ako sa mga kaibigan ko, pero for people that I don't know, I'm never kind, no. And, pero, siguro, I came upon this quote from Max Lucado. I don't know if you know him. Napakaganda nung sinabi niya. Nakalagay doon, forgive and give as if it's your last opportunity. Love like there's no tomorrow. And if tomorrow comes, you love again. So, parang gano'n. So, sarap isipin ng gano'n na uy, parang ito na yung last chance ko para kasi baka bukas mamatay ako. Baka mamaya mamatay ako. So, I can never be at peace if I don't forgive someone. Diba? Ang hirap kaya yung may tanim kang galit sa puso mo, tapos pag natulog ka, isip-isip mo palit. Baka nga man di ka makatulog nun eh. Kasi nasa isip mo, nasa puso mo galit. Diba? Pag you don't, pag ka na lang, magpatawad ka na lang. Kasi nga, sabi nga, if you forgive, you are giving a chance, di ba? Parang nandun na nga yung root word na give eh. You give that person a chance. And I know it's very hard to forgive, no. I'm talking about yung someone na yung mga kalaban natin kasi yun yung it's one of the most napaka-struggle yun eh. Yun yung one of our most struggles sa buhay natin, yung to love someone na kagalit natin. And yun lang, isipin nyo lang na kasi if you don't have peace in your heart, napakahirap. Hirap talaga. So, if you find it difficult na magpatawad sa tao, take a leave from Duterte Zona. Sabi niya doon sa Zona. Hindi. Take a leave from Duterte Zona. Sabi niya doon, if you cannot love one another, at least let us not hate too much. Diba? Kasi nga, there's a difference between hating someone and not liking someone. Siguro, kung hindi mo talaga kaya, take it one step at a time. No? Doon ka magsimula. Don't hate too much. If you don't like him, but don't hate him. Because yung hate, ibang klase na yun. So, yun lang. Yun lang yung sinasa puso ko. No? Just think of it na this is your last opportunity to love. So, give everything you can to forgive. And for that, may God be praised.
Thank you. So, in closing, kung titignan nyo, eksakto lang tayo sa oras, tama lang. 1 minute. So, 12 o'clock tayo eksakto. Basically, from all that we've heard this morning, we've learned about the Christian ideal, we've learned about loving God, and now, in terms of loving our neighbor, the call to us is quite clear. This is one of His commandments to us, to love one another, and to follow, and to love one another as He loved us, to love one another as you love yourself, and just to be able to aspire for what is good, what is best for one another. And it's not an easy thing to do. I can attest to that. But through God's grace, you will find yourself slowly, gaya nga nagsabi ng Job, kung hindi mo makakaya, then just do it one step at a time. Because step by step, as you journey with God in this, as you go and deepen your relationship with Him, and deepen your love for Him, you will also find yourself desiring to be able to love the people whom He loves. In the same way that God loves everyone, you will also want to desire, Lord, how can I also be able to love the people whom you love? And that is what, yun lang yun naman yung simpleng desire natin, yung simpleng padasal natin, that sana, kahit pa paano, matutunan natin kung paano mahalin yung mga tao na mahal ng ating Panginoon. Yun lang po mga kapatid. Salamat.